I take advantage of those day-to-day moments because I don't want to do what he did, where my dad worked so hard his whole life. He had all these plans with my mom for when he retired. But now it's on me to then create that joy in my day to day so that I'm not just living for retirement and I'm not just waiting until I'm 70 and I am able to then travel, because that's not a guarantee in life. So that's really where it stems from.
Buckle up for a new episode of the Be She podcast, the show where we have real and raw conversations to inspire and empower you to be seen and heard so you can create balance and everything you want in your life and business. I'm your host, Heidi Schock, and I'm excited to walk alongside of you on this journey of being seen, heard, and empowered. Welcome to the Be She podcast, be seen, be heard, be empowered. And I have a really cool guest with me today. And that's the first time I've used that adjective because I truly think that she's really cool. And we're going to share we've been chatting a little bit behind the scenes and I learned a little bit about her and we're going to dive into all the things. But before I do so, I'm just going to introduce her to you and then we're going to dive into her bio and then we're going to dive into all of the good stuff. So welcome Palak to the show. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat.
I am excited too. Before we dive in, I'm just going to give everybody a little background about you. So Palak Dave is an entrepreneur, experience expert, which I want to learn more about what that means, speaker and author of Beautiful Everydays, a guide to living in the here and now. Formerly a marketer with positions at companies including the Toronto International Film Festival and Indigo Books and Music, Inc. She has been featured in the Everygirl, Authority magazine, and the Huffington Post. She has also been a guest on numerous podcasts, including Live Well Anyway, Hotter Than Health podcast, Talk Healthy to Me, and AsianBoss Girl. Additionally, Palak has cultivated partnerships with dozens of global brands, including Lululemon, Bumble, and Knixwear. So Palak began her entrepreneurial journey in 2017 by founding Embiria, which has since evolved to Embiria Social Club, abbreviated to ESC, community helping women feel more fulfilled in their everyday lives, having curated and hosted over 350 community and media events. Palak believes in the profound impact of bringing people together, especially over a shared meal. We're going to hear more about that too. Through facilitating experiences, hosting events, working with brands, speaking and media engagements, she's here to share more about Embiria and also about her journey. So again, thank you for joining me. My first question for you is one that I ask everybody that comes on. You started Embiria in 2017 and you have an incredible history with what you've been working with in the past. And it sounds like you've been in media for a long time. Did Embiria come from something that you moved through this transformation yourself and learning the power of what you're creating? Or is this something that you saw was a need for, you learned more about it and decided to launch it?
Yeah, this is something that I had no idea I would end up creating a business from. Looking at my background, coming from a corporate background, I always thought I'd just move up the corporate ladder. I actually enjoyed my corporate jobs, but there was always a deeper knowing within me that I was meant for something more. And I think a lot of women can resonate with that feeling that there's something greater that I wanted to create. I wanted to have more impact. And Imberia really came about because I personally was craving community in my life. I felt like I was on this hamster wheel of just working my job and not really slowing down to make friendships and connect with people outside of work and to live my life in a way that felt meaningful every day. So I was born out of that. There was a deeper calling. I started Embiria and then it turned into this company. Now fast forward 7 years later, here we are.
Wow. So tell us more about what is Embiria and it's a community. Can you share more about what that looks like?
Yeah, it's definitely evolved over time, especially going through the pandemic and different things that have come up over the years that obviously had an impact on my business. It started off as a way for women to gather and we create that time for them to connect with themselves, reconnect with themselves, and connect with the people around them. I would do that through shared experiences, whether I was curating a dinner or a cooking class or even a panel with amazing founders that they could learn from. The point was that they took that time to slow down and savor the present moment. Now it's evolved into a membership platform and a community where Embiria is a way of life. It means experience. It's about getting you to feel that feeling that you would feel when you're on vacation. I like to say that because we can all relate to that feeling where we're more open, we're more present, we're connecting to new friends and new people around us. We want to experience everything that's happening in the new city that we're visiting. I want women to be able to bring that into their day-to-day lives and still go after your dreams, but do it in a way where you've created that spaciousness and that meaning in your day to day. You actually have more capacity to pour into whatever it is that you're creating.
I love that because just talking with you and just listening to you right now, you brought me back to 15 years ago. My daughter was 15 and is literally, this is like off the cuff. I did not think I was going to be talking about with you about this today. But my daughter is 15 and I was pregnant with her. And I remember I was a stay-at-home mom at that point. I didn't have the day-to-day juggles and I didn't even have kids yet. So I didn't have the craziness of juggling, children and job and or business and partner and home and animals. And I remember going, you know what? I just want to experience everything that I can in my pregnancy. And I used to get so upset because I was like, why are all these women having Braxton Hicks and I'm not having Braxton Hicks and I want to feel the pain and blah, blah, blah. Well, the crazy thing is that the day that she was supposed to go, I pushed my labor to the end. I was an older mom. So they wanted me to induce. And I was like, nope, I want to go as far as I can. I trust that I'm healthy and everything's going to be perfect. And finally they're like, we gotta get you in on this day. And I'm like, okay. So it was like a Monday and it was like the last day before, it was the day before she was due.
Mm,
And it was in the evening the night before. I didn't even have my bag packed and we were in West Palm and I lived in Lake Worth, which was like 30 minutes the other way. Oh, wait, the opposite direction from where the hospital was. And we're
wow.
in the booth of the restaurant, and literally my water breaks. And it doesn't break, it's like slow, it's full on
Oh
breaking
gosh.
in the booth. If you reminded me of this, and I know it might be too much information, but it's a beautiful experience because it's an experience. And I
Yeah.
don't get like listening to you, I'm like, I don't think I've ever been as connected to an experience that I've wanted to create since then because life
Oh,
happens, things happen, and we get so busy. So
yes.
for somebody that's in like they can remember a time like I'm just remember talking to you like, oh my gosh, that was an amazing moment. I really created, I wanted to be in those experiences and I created that. I don't know how to anymore because life is happening. How can
Yes.
you share with them to re-tap into that? And to me, how do I re-tap into that?
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's such a beautiful experience to remember. And I'm glad it came to mind because this is exactly what I want women to have is it's all about having the space to remember those experiences and to allow for them in the future. So it's exactly what you mentioned. You said you're busy, you have things going on, you have kids, you have responsibilities, life happens, and life is going to keep happening. But what we do know is that when you look in the future and you think back to the people that are in their 70s, 80s, and they're saying, what did I regret in life? What do I wish I did more of? And we always hear those responses. I wish I connected more with my friends. I wish I didn't work as hard. I wish I saw my family more. I wish I made more time for hobbies and joy and the things that bring us back to the present moment so you truly feel like you lived. And so I know that there are feelings of wanting to be ambitious and driven and do all the things. I'm the same way. And I really had to tying my happiness to my productivity because I
Yeah.
think there's something there about feeling like we need to be productive in order to feel fulfilled. But actually, if we feel fulfilled in other ways and allow ourselves to create the spaciousness to reconnect back with what matters, we're actually going to have more of an ability to create our dreams and go after them. And so the first step is quieting the noise. That really is what it is about. We have so much that happens in our lives and our world, and the world is just full of distractions. And we got to cut through those distractions to tune back into our own inner voices and what matters to us.
Yeah, that's incredible. And what just I thought of when we were talking about that, especially when you said there's so many people later in life that they look back on and they're like, I wish I would had spent more time creating joy and connection and those experiences. And I was just talking with my mom recently about the holidays, and they're now down visiting, so we haven't celebrated Christmas with them yet or the holiday with them yet. But I was saying, I don't really want things. I want
Yeah.
experiences. I'm at the
Yes.
point now in my life. It used to be, okay, I want the diamond bracelet or I want the thing. I'm now, my kids are teens. I'm 52. I want experiences. That's what I want to, when money comes in, I'm like, okay, what can we create to remember on versus the stuff? And you're much younger. So how was it that you learned this at such you're so early on? Why do you feel, how do you feel, what experiences did you go through that kind of like gave you that aha?
Well, this is a really good question because it really goes back to when I was a teenager. I always thought that I created Embiria because I was creating community because felt like I needed it in my life and I wanted to slow down. But I went back even deeper than that. What I realized through my work is this all stems from when I was 15 years old. My dad passed away of a sudden heart attack. Happened very quickly in a moment. He was actually mowing the lawn outside and it was completely unexpected, no history of any heart issues. Suddenly, my sister and myself and my mom were faced with dealing with this tragedy. What I realized through the work that I do is the reason I've been connecting so much and slowing down is because life is too short. I know that we know that. Conceptually, we think about that and we think, of course, we all know that life is short and we want to make the most of our day to day, but only when you're faced with a direct tragedy happening to yourself and you're awakened to the reality of that, do you realize that it truly is that way. You need to savor your moments because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. That's why I place such an emphasis on living my life in a way where tomorrow is not guaranteed. I do the experiences, I value the quality time, I take advantage of those day-to-day moments. I don't want to do what he did, where my dad worked so hard his whole life. He had all these plans with my mom for when he retired. He was going to travel the world and take her on trips. And he would tell us as a family all the things we do together. And we never got to do that. A way to honor him is to know that I had the opportunities that I do because of the life that he lived. But now it's on me to create that joy in my day to day so that I'm not just living for retirement and I'm not just waiting until I'm 70 and I am able to then travel, because that's not a guarantee in life. So that's where it stems from.
That's beautiful and it's a blessing, but also I'm sorry that you had to go through that. I'm sorry for your loss of your father. And I love that you are taking his legacy. You're basically creating a legacy in his
Yep.
name and his honor,
Yeah.
to help other people go, listen, don't do this. We all say we'll do this
Yes.
when, and it
Yes.
may never happen. We don't know. Some people live till 98, 105. We don't all have that luxury.
Yep.
We don't know if we're the person that's going to or not. So many of us are living for tomorrow versus living for today. And I
Yeah.
love that you're creating that opportunity for people to live for today. Can you tell us can people expect being in your community and more about what that looks like to be in your environment and in that area?
Yes, we need to just be reminded of ways to do exactly what you said, which is not delaying life. It's how can we take advantage of those small moments in our day to day? Often people think that in order to find that fulfillment, you have to go on a big vacation or be excited about something like buying a new house or switching jobs or big moments that happen, or it's a thing and they look forward to the thing and buying the thing. I often say it's in our mundane day to day moments that we can transform and create that joy. That's one of the reasons I even wrote Beautiful Everydays. It's a reason I have the community. The way we do it within the community is to have connection calls every single month where we're connecting on a deeper level. I encourage people to do things like phone a friend. When's the last time you picked up a phone and randomly called a friend without scheduling it? We don't do enough of that anymore. It's so different. The world is so different now. We don't knock on each other's doors. We're not dropping things off to neighbors. We're not creating little rituals that matter. When you look at happiness and you look back at the blue zone, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but areas in the world where people live till past 100, and it's the largest number of population in terms of people living after 100. The reason
Oh,
being, yeah, they've determined what the factors are. One of the biggest factors is being in community. Another one is having purpose. Those are the things that I bring into the community and give women the ways that they can do it on a day-to-day basis. I'll share a quick example. One of the examples that you can do that is finding a ritual or a tradition that you create in your day-to-day life that anchors your week into something that you're excited about. For me, that can look like on a Wednesday morning, I want to take a really long walk with my dog and I want to go grab coffee with my husband. We will pick a new cafe to go to every Wednesday. We'll take an hour for ourselves. We've created this little ritual and tradition, and suddenly it's something that we both look forward to. We've carved out time in our schedule. And it really brings you that everyday joy. It's nothing complicated. It doesn't cost a ton of money. It's not something grandiose. It's about those day-to-day shifts that will add up to a fulfilling life.
so for less than 10 or $20,
Yeah,
yeah. An amazing
exactly.
moment every single week. And some people listening could be like, oh, that's scheduling on the calendar. That's not romantic, or that's not, what's the word I'm looking for? Not off the cuff, but spontaneous.
Spontaneous.
But at
Yeah.
the same time, we do need to schedule in, especially in today's world. Our world is so much different than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I believe in scheduling things in, because if you don't schedule it in, guess what happens? Life. Just like we talked about at the beginning of this episode, life happens and then you're not making sure that happens. And I
Yeah.
think it's more important to schedule in what Palak is sharing the important things of life and creating fulfillment versus what your next schedule is, as far as schedule in
Exactly.
those things that you get to is more important than scheduling than things that you have to, because those have tos are going to get scheduled. So, and guess what? Your have tos will take over the get tos. I love that you're doing that. And so tell us more about your book. What prompted you to inspired you to write it? What can we get from it, and where can we get it? Where can we go buy it?
Yeah, the book Beautiful Everydays really came from this feeling of wanting to savor the everyday moments in life. And what happened was I was hosting all these events for women, and they would come to the event and they would tell me, I feel so grounded and I feel so fulfilled when I'm at these events, but how do I carry that forward in my day-to-day life? And I'm like, it's not just about going to these events. Of course, that helps. And I'm glad I can create that space for you, but you can bring this into your home at it's very accessible. Again, it doesn't cost much money. You can do it with the things that you have, but it's actually a beautiful book that has photography in it. It has over 28 activities that you can do. It's like a cookbook, but for experiences. So you can flip to any page at any time. It's a guide that will be with you for time and time again, where you want to do something with your child, you want to do something with your partner, with a parent, doesn't really matter. You could do it for yourself. But the goal is when you're craving that moment of presence or joy in your life, you can flip to the book and look through the activities and pick one that resonates and feel, oh, I can take a moment for myself and do this. And I can actually allow myself to experience the joy and beauty of everyday life. I don't have to go externally to seek it. I can find it in my day to day. But there's some really fun things in there, creating a cafe at home. That's something that it's funny because it's become popular now on the internet, but I wrote about this 4 years ago, where take a little nook in your house and create a little cafe at home, make it an experience. So you're turning those micro moments into moments of fulfillment and joy. And then you'll look back and be like, oh, I really liked that Monday afternoon because I actually took some time for myself. And suddenly I feel more grounded and more peaceful. And I don't feel like I'm just running around and checking off all the things on my to-do list. So that's where Beautiful Everydays comes from. And it's just meant to be something that you can have with you forever.
Oh, that's so good. I was just thinking, I'm going to do so many things now that I've chatted with you. This is awesome. In my kitchen, my refrigerator makes coffee. People are blown away with that, but it makes coffee. And I think it's fantastic. And I loved it. And I specifically bought it because it makes coffee. I don't have to have something on my counter.
Yeah.
But that being said, there's no joy in it. You have to
Mm.
sit and wait for it to think. There's no experience like you're sharing with me. And there's a desk in my kitchen, off the kitchen. I think there's a whole space for a desk. And that is a nook that I could literally get it doesn't have to be expensive, but a little coffee pot, a Keurig or whatever, and set it up and make it look really cute and pretty and the things. And we could put chalkboard up and go, maybe we have a positive word or phrase that we think about every day and we change it out
You.
and get them involved. That would be fun, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. This is
I love that.
exactly. Thanks. This is exactly what I mean, where you can suddenly get creative in your day to day and have those moments of joy. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, but it's like thinking about your life as an experience all the time. So even laying out the fine china, how many of us don't use our fancy dishes day to day? Why not? Why can't we do that? What are we saving it for? Or dressing up on a basic day. If you want to like throw on a red lipstick, do it. If it makes you feel good, do it. There's an activity in the book called Just Because Cake. And it's like all about how as a child, we look forward to birthday parties and we would want to go have a giant piece of cake. And as an adult, we wait for birthdays or for somebody else to do it for us. But what if you have a business win? Or what if you just had a bad day or whatever it is? Go buy yourself a grocery store cake and make it fun. Why does it
Right.
have to be that you're not celebrating the everyday moments?
Yeah, don't wait for 4th of July to throw the sparklers on. Just say,
Exactly.
put the sparklers in the cake on, I don't know, February 27th.
Do it.
Is February 27th around? Yeah. I'm just thinking about leap year. I'm like, did I get rid of it? Yeah.
No, there's
Any day,
still
you don't have to wait till a holiday or a special event to do it. Like, and I was thinking when we were chatting behind the scenes, I actually thought about that. I'm like, how many times do we wait to wear the beautiful
yes.
coat or to wear the special heels or to bring out the champagne glass?
Yep.
Right? Fill it with water if that's what you want to fill it with, and just toast to yourself during the day. If you're working from home, because many of us do, many of us are entrepreneurs. People listening are entrepreneurs. If you're at home and you're like, how do I spice this up? Get out your champagne glass and fill it with water or juice or whatever you want to. Make it fun. And that's, I think we become too serious and
Mhm.
too quote unquote responsible. Oh, that's not responsible. We can
Yeah.
throw a little responsibility out the door. You're still doing the things that you need to do. You're not ruining your credit over
Yeah.
bringing out the champagne glass and, during the day or whatever, or using the fine china versus just the everyday plateware. Because there's become a day where you can't use it anymore.
Exactly.
So yeah, and enjoy the moments when they're there. Thinking about bringing them into that conversation. What experiences do you want to do on a day to day to make it fun? What would work?
Yeah.
What would make it exciting for you? It doesn't have to be a lot of, even just instead of having dinner at the table, maybe if it's not outside, because I don't know if you have ants or bugs, or doing a picnic on the floor or something like
That's
that, changing it up,
exactly it. You
right?
totally get it. That's actually in the book, and I love that. That's it. It's reframing and looking at those everyday moments. Even if you're like ordering a pizza, it doesn't have to be you cooking a fancy dinner, but maybe you order a pizza and you cut it up into little squares and you plate it and it's super cute and you make it just feel more elaborate than it is. It doesn't have to be the fancy things, but you can really elevate that every day by doing things like that.
Yeah, I'll just get, and I love that you put it in the book, and I want to talk about that more because I'm like, oh my gosh, she gives you the ideas. You don't, for some of you listening, you may be like, I'm not that creative. I can't, I'm so overwhelmed. I can't even think about what would, she gives it to you. Palette gives it to you in the book. So get the book and you're going to have the answers. You don't even have to think about it. You just open a page and go, okay, whatever page I open on, we're
Exactly.
creating. And it's going to be super simple because it's not something that you have to spend a lot of money on. You have to go to an exotic place to make happen. It's literally available to you in what you already have.
Mm.
And today I was sharing with you behind the scenes that my day has been a little crazy. We didn't know if we were going to bring my dog home today. We ran her to the vet, and thank you, universe, God, that we were able to bring her home today. We know it's not much longer, but it's not today. We get her for some more time. So it's a happy day. But we on the way home, I'm like, we're going to create a pup cup for her. She gets a pup cup every
Oh,
day. Every day, my two dog and my other dog is here. I'm like, they both get pup cups. How can we make their life on a day to day? Why are we waiting for a tragedy event to make things? Just let's make it fun all the time. Like your children, for those of you who are listening who have children, they're growing up. They're going to be moving on. Mine's 14 and 15. My daughter's driving, stay off the road in West Palm Beach County, but she's driving and soon she'll be out more and I won't see her as much. I won't have she'll be having her friends and having her things. So before they get there, what can you do to make it cool experiences? And those are the memories that matter. It's not the big opera nights out or the big extravagant dinners to Ruth's Chris or whatever the steakhouse is in your community. The kids remember those little experiences, those family moments, those movie nights. I remember
yeah.
my kids and I used to stay up late. We'll be like, put a movie on, and we'd all fall asleep. I'd fall asleep in the chair, they'd fall asleep on the couch, and we'd have those moments when they were little. And we'd make popcorn. Didn't cost a lot, but it
I
was
love.
those moments that you make. So I love what you're doing. I think it's spectacular because I don't know anybody that's doing it. And I
Mm.
love that you call yourself an experience expert. How did you come up with that?
That's a fun one. I was thinking through the work that I do, and I think what's really interesting about it is I do feel like I'm paving a way. And I know that obviously there's so many wellness people in this industry that have different ways of showing you how to have a more grounded mindset or find more presence. But for me, it really is through the experience. I name my company after the word experience. I've really created these experiences in my everyday. I try and show these experiences to the women of my community. And so after curating hundreds of events, I realized I really do have the ability to host these events and guide people through an experience. And I do it through a very unique way. It's like five sensory approach where I make you feel really welcome and connected and grounded, and I make you feel like you belong. And I don't think every host does that at an event. And so I like to say I don't host events, I host experiences. And I want you to experience life. I want you to have those experiences for yourself. And so deeming myself the experience expert is really my way of claiming that life is meant to be full of experiences and they're meant to be lived. And I really think I can help guide women to that place through the work that I do.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And, I wanted to touch on that because I think that's so important because you could call yourself a wellness expert or a wellness coach because it's part of what you do, but that's the overall theme or segment that you're in. It's either health, wealth, finances, or relationships. Those are the four buckets that you want to be in one of them if you are coaching, consulting, or building a business around because that's the need that people have.
Yeah.
And you are in the wellness and you could have stuck with the whole generic avenue, but you're like, no, you dug deeper.
Yeah.
And I want to shine light on that because we're be seen, be heard, be empowered. And because people listening, when you want to set yourself apart from other people, you're going to be doing similar things to other people because you need to be. Otherwise, if you're not, then you might want to look at, if there's nobody else is doing it, is this a viable financial going to be work for me type of business, or am I just going to have an expensive hobby along the way? So you want to be in a space where other people are doing similar to what you're doing. It's financially working and there's a need for it and an audience for it. And Palak has done it, but she's also found a way to make herself stand out from the crowd of other people doing similar things.
Yeah, exactly. I don't really call myself a lifestyle coach or a coach at all. I don't really go that way. I guide women through this process of going from feeling almost burnt out to then feeling like you're living a beautiful life every day. And so I guide you through the experiences that I offer, whether they're virtual, whether they're in person, whether you're doing it for yourself, it doesn't really matter, but it is about experiencing life. And that's what I want all women and all people to actually feel.
Yeah, I love it. So, what was you started this business and you were in the corporate world and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this now. What were some challenges that you came upon when you were building and growing, and how did you move through them and overcome them? And what if we'll talk about advice down the road, but start.
Yeah, it's a great question because I didn't know that I would set out to start a business. I obviously thought that I was going to start with the events, and I very quickly realized I had to play all the roles and wear all the hats and everything everyone tells you, but you don't realize it till you're fully in it, where you're
Right.
dabbling from, you're having to switch gears. It's like suddenly I'm looking at invoices and then I'm going into strategy work and then I'm all of a sudden doing my marketing and yeah, I'm doing all the things. And so for me, the biggest change was going from actually having a team. So I had a team when I was at TIFF and I at one point had up to 10 people reporting to me. And I went from that to being completely alone, doing it all alone and feeling very much like this can be actually quite a lonely journey if you don't surround yourself with the right people. So then I had to really equip myself with understanding it takes a village to do things. You cannot do it alone. I started a co-working group. I would meet with them regularly every Wednesday and we would go to a different cafe and co-work, and it was such a great way for me to understand different expertise and women that have gone through the journey already and that could help me. And I very quickly realized I can't do it all myself. I have to delegate out the things that I don't love. I'm still learning that. It's a journey for sure. It's not something that came naturally to me because I'm so used to a corporate environment. So I'm trying to detach from needing to do it all in order to scale and grow. But the biggest change for me was just realizing that I could put as much into this as I want. So creating those boundaries of how much should I do? When should I stop? Because it can really consume you if it's something that you love and are passionate about.
Yeah, and comparison, I think that sometimes we're like, oh my gosh, how much am I doing? Am I doing enough? Where should I be? We're comparing ourselves to other people out there in this space who might be like further, way further ahead, but we're like, why aren't I there? Well, we just started maybe 2 months ago and they've been doing this for 2 years or 12 years. We can't compare ourselves to other people. And I think that's a thing that a lot of us fall into. And it can be a dangerous, slippery slope because it could take you out of the game before you've ever had a chance to even get there. What would you say for somebody that's starting out, or what would be the number one or one or two things that you would advice you could give someone?
Number one would be to just do it. And I hear a lot of entrepreneurs say this because you do really get stuck in your head. If you have an idea and you're thinking about it, it can be very easy to talk yourself out of it, all the reasons you shouldn't do it. You can overanalyze it. Suddenly you feel like you need this whole business plan. That can feel really overwhelming. And I remember when I first started, I was like, okay, I really want to host this event. I think it's something people need. It was a yoga and a brunch event. And I thought this could be fun for me. I think other women will like it. So I threw it up on a ticketing website and I put it up without having a full website or social media or anything. And I really had such a great response to that. It sold out within 48 hours. And I realized this kind of validates the fact that people need what I'm building. And so that was the momentum that I needed to then go all in and realize I can build this out. And had I not done that, I probably would have talked myself out of all the reasons I shouldn't do what I do. It would have been, this is going to be too much effort for the return. Maybe I'm not going to make as much money as I'd like. So many things could have come up. How am I going to find a venue? There were so many questions, but just do it. Just see how it goes. And based on that, you can always refine, create, plan, all the things. But take that first step. It's like ripping the date off, and then you can figure it all out later. So that's my biggest piece of advice to anyone that's thinking of starting something for themselves.
Yeah, that's so good because there's a lot of people that are like, I need to know the 10 steps ahead before I even launch the first step. And it's like, no, let's get people first. Yes.
Exactly.
We try to figure out the venue and all the things, and then nobody says yes. You've wasted all of this time worrying about things that you never needed to worry about. Let's figure out the marketing. Let's figure out your audience. Let's figure out, and
Yeah.
then you can always, because even if you have to change something, you let
Yep.
them know that the venue's changed. It's all good. People want to be supportive, and especially if this is a founders round and this is a beginning an event, and you are honest and open and authentic that they are the beginning people and they're getting this benefit because they are
That's
more
ex
time with you, or that, more intimacy, that intimate environment. And we had talked about briefly, or maybe it was behind the scenes, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but you had said that you led the building the community and in creating these experiences, especially over a shared meal. And you
Mhm.
just mentioned like brunch. So can you talk more about how that came about?
Yeah, for sure. Just personally being a foodie, I love a good food experience. I've done lots of things related to food. I used to have a food blog that I ran for years, and I've just always exploring new restaurants and things like that. But one thing that I love about a shared meal is I talk a lot about being present and connecting with your life and living intentionally. And I find that when people are sharing a meal together, the phone is automatically put away. If you're really engaged in a meal and you're having good conversation, you're less likely to look at your phone. And I do think in today's digitally driven world, it's important for us to have those moments of disconnecting. And so I love doing things over a good meal. I do it even when I host brand events. I like to say, get people to truly connect, put your phones away and have a phone free experience and see the magic of human connection and what can happen. And so I like to center a lot of my events around the table and around food because it just creates these really beautiful, deep moments of connection.
Yeah, that's a good reminder, especially for us moms who have kids, because sometimes we can be like, just plop the food down, or everybody
Yeah.
go sit on the couch and let's watch a show. And it's like, no, let's take this time to connect. And I know I need to do more of that with my kiddos as they're getting older too. So this has been really great for me personally. I love that it's going out to other people and this is on a podcast and it's going to be spread out and we're going to share it with the world. But I'm also grateful for you because I know this deep down is helping me and my connection with my kiddos and family too. So thank you so much. Where can we find your book? Tell us more about that because we didn't talk about that.
Yes, you can find it on Amazon or Barnes and Noble. It's called Beautiful Everydays, and you can order it online. You can also find it at some local shops as well. But you can check out my website, embiria.ca, and all the information is on there in terms of where you can find it. And you can also find me on Instagram at Paldave, Paldave. I love to connect with people. That's what I use it for. Social media to me is a tool to really connect. And so happy to answer any DMs or any questions. And the social club is also available. It's open to women worldwide. I want you to create a life that you love. And if you're looking for women to do that alongside with, and you need those daily reminders and experiences to help you feel more present, then join us inside the club. It's Embiria Social Club, and you can join through my website as well.
Perfect. So go to the website, check it out there. Definitely connect with Palak too on the social media platforms. She's definitely in the DMs. Say hi to her. Let her know that you heard her on the Be podcast. Go connect with her. Join the social club. It sounds like super fun. And you're going to, I know for a fact when you join this isn't just something you're like, I'm going to join and I don't know if you're going to create amazing experiences, not only for yourself, but for your loved ones. So there is a ripple effect that's going to be happening here that is beyond what you can even imagine in this moment now. So I implore you and invite you to go join her in this club. And I love that you've created this, Balak. I think it's incredible. And I'm so grateful for you being here today and sharing it with us.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't know that I actually went to school in Italy for a bit, and that was when my love of really savoring life first came about. Fell in love with Italy, went on to even then go and do Michelin cooking class with a Michelin chef in Italy, spending 5 days in Tuscany and
A
loved that.
Michelin chef. Wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
that's cool.
really, really great. Such a beautiful experience. My love of food and travel and all of that came together. And I've gone to the US and spent time in Austin, Texas, where I'm actually interviewing from today, and live in Canada, but also spent time in South America as well and Mexico. So, yeah, I've been able to have the privilege of living in multiple places and traveling to almost 40 countries.
40 countries.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you have like, I don't know if you'd say it, like if you feel bad about saying what your favorite is, but do you have a favorite spot?
Italy's on the top of the list for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I feel like I was Italian in a past life. Like, give me a bowl of pasta and put me in Italy, and I am like a happy girl. That's why I'm trying to bring that
Yes.
European lifestyle to North America because I do think that Europeans naturally live that way, a certain way. So I love just La Dolce Vita and the whole thing that it embodies.
Yeah, I'm Italian, so I'm part Italian,
Oh,
and
so you
Italians
get
definitely.
it.
Yeah, I've been in Italy, and they definitely live a different life. And it's unbelievable. I have a lot of stories about that too. And I can't wait. I've never been to Rome though. I want to go to Rome. Been to Venice, been to Milan, been to some other places, but yeah, I don't have a favorite yet. What's it, Lake Como? Lake
Like,
Como is
oh no,
unbelievable.
yeah. I'm
But
watching Stanley Tucci's show right now, and it's all about searching for Italy. It's gorgeous and in all of those places. And so highly recommend that too if you're
yeah,
just
I think that's a place you need to go multiple times. Like I've been to Greece and I didn't make it to the islands because we went in the winter, but I
yeah.
don't know that like I'd love to go to Santorini in the summer and stuff, but I still want to go back to Italy first if I had to choose. Ireland's on my bucket list too. Have you been to Ireland yet?
I haven't, but I got married in Greece actually. My
Did
husband's
you
Greek.
get married in
So
Greece?
yeah,
I went on my honeymoon. It's
that's
beautiful
awesome.
there. So
Love that.
yeah, Italy's definitely, I agree with you. And the culture is just, it's all about food and family and
Yes.
experiences for sure. Absolutely. So yeah, that's amazing. So my next question for you is
Mhm.
if you could choose anyone, whether it's a famous person, politician, historian, anybody that you could sit down and have lunch with and ask questions to, who would it be? They could be alive, they could be deceased. Who would
Yeah.
it be and why?
Oh, two women come to mind, but I can share one. So I would actually say Joanna Gaines of Magnolia. So she has the Magnolia
Really? Oh
brand.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, I really, really just love the brand that she's built. I think she's done it in a way that it embodies like, everything that I love, which is about the home. It's about your everyday life. It's about finding joy in those simple moments. And she's just created such a beautiful brand while doing it and staying true to her roots. She lives in Waco, Texas. She hasn't moved to like Hollywood to pursue things. It's like she has her family life and she does it. And she seems to live a really beautiful, simple life, but while also creating impact in the world. And I think that that's a hard balance to find. You really either need to be fully in it and you're sacrificing things, or you are not doing that. And I feel like she's managed to do both. So I'd be really, really interested in learning more about how she made that possible and did that for herself.
I love that answer because it's all about family. It's all
Yeah.
about family and feelings and
Yep.
visual and all the senses. She
Exactly.
brings everything together and she really listens to what their needs are and what they want to create. And she makes it happen. Like her
Yep.
vision is truly unbelievable. So anybody of you listening, obviously Palak hasn't met her yet. So if you no way of let's connect, let's make this happen for her because this
Oh,
is
I would
somebody
love that.
that
I met her mom once when I went to her restaurant. I actually went to Waco and I happened to sit beside her mom and she was so lovely and sweet. And I'm like,
uh,
I love everything your daughter's created. So yeah, the universe, I do think it'll happen. So I'd love anybody to
it'll
connect.
happen. We're going to also put that out there. You never know who's listening. If anybody listening knows how to get us in touch with, you sat next to her mother. If her mother can't make it happen, no,
Yeah.
but we're going to still try and make this happen. So that's awesome. Thank you, Palak, so much. Is there anything before we wrap up that you want to share that I didn't ask you or you didn't get to?
No, I think that's so great. Thank you for highlighting all of the things. And I just want women around the world to feel like you deserve to take that permission to enjoy your life. And that's really what I want to leave everyone with, that it's not something to be chased. It's not something you can park and save for later. Just give yourself that permission today to savor those everyday moments and you'll see your life transform.
I love it. It's beautiful. And it's not for the future, it's for now. Right. It
Exactly.
gets to happen now. Because if it doesn't happen now, it may never happen. So thank you for bringing this to the light and for sharing it with all of us and for reminding us how important this is and
Mhm.
how precious it is. If you really want to create life fulfillment, it's not about, yes, we want to create money and we want to have abundance and we want to have all the things that you want to have. You get to have your best life ever, but that comes from creation of experiences. And I'm going to share with you, for you listening, that the creation and focusing on those experiences and bringing joy into your life opens that door and those windows for abundance of all the monetary that you want to create. But
Yes.
the fun and the joy gets to come first, not the stress and the worry. And you get to do that by having the picnic on the floor, even if it's with a bowl of macaroni and cheese, right?
Love that.
Yeah. So thank you, Palak, so much for being with me here today. It's been such a pleasure and such a joy, and I'm so grateful for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening today to the Be She podcast. We will see you on the next episode. In the meantime, be empowered to be seen and heard.